Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Welcome back again to another show. Another Speak Your Mind show, another happy Saturday night. I'm back again with my cool shades on tonight for those of you who are tuning in early. I know somebody sometime tonight gonna call and ask what's up with the fancy, cool looking shades, but as usual, I'm gonna do a little housekeeping on that to explain myself. But before I do that, welcome back again. I need you guys who are loyal viewers, who view the show like religion every Saturday, to do what you normally do. Sit back, relax, write down your questions, your comments, get ready to call and take part in this show because again, and again, this show is the only show that allows you to express yourself, give you an opportunity to put the information out there so the policymakers and the decision makers can hopefully hear your cry, also hear your congratulations. You know, sometimes we got to do that too. We can't just be crying all the time. And they'll make those changes that are needed. There's a lot of work being done. So as a result of some of the crying and concerns that some of you had or have. So call your friends, your family members, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your aunt, your best buddy that you like to watch a show with, and tell them their buddy's on tonight. Speak your mind. You know me. You know, if it's something I'm passionate about and you ask me to comment, I'm probably going to give you my honest opinion. I'm not going to try to steer you wrong. And I think that's one of the problems that's troubling a lot of us in this country is, you know, we got a lot of mixed conversation and people are not really telling us the truth. So hopefully we can tackle some of that tonight on this show. Speak your mind. We can't solve all of the problems. But what we could do is at least have an open, honest discussion about the problems we have so we can have opportunity and find real solution, you know, something that's down the middle because not everybody going to be happy with whatever solution you come up with. But if it's enough that all of us can get by, then it's a good solution. So call your friends, let them know that the Speak Your Mind show is on. We're on live tonight. Tonight we're live. It's not a tape. This is a live show. So, little housekeeping. For those of you who are wondering again, yes, I have my shades on. Not because I want to be extra cool, but because, you know, I had a little eye surgery. And I'm still wearing my shades. I probably have to wear them for a long time. Whenever I come in contact with bright lights, even just sitting at home sometime watching the TV, I wear my shades. You know, for those of you who are concerned, and a lot of you have been sharing a lot of love, thank you so much again and again for your love, your compassion, for your understanding, for your support. Thank you for, you know, being there by me. You know, looking out for me and my family, and I really appreciate that, you know, from the bottom of my heart. Again, if you still want to contribute, I do have to go back and get another surgery done on my other eye now, sometime next month if I can raise the funds. Feel free to contact me anytime. You can hit me up on the Facebook page, Julio Henry, and you can make a contribution that way. So, little housekeeping, again, thank you so much. So tonight, I got about 3 things I want to talk to you guys about. But again, the show is Speak Your Mind. It's not my mind, it's your mind. And the show will be open for anything and everything that you feel, you know, is of great concern to you and the general population. You know, no matter how simple it seems, you know, to others, it's important to you, and it might also be very important to others. So feel free to share your concern with us tonight, myself and Courtney and the rest of everybody else who's listening. But as usual, I'm going to do my little piece before we go to break. I'm going to give you a few things, food for thought, I like to call it. And you can just, feed off that, or you can call with your own concerns. So, I wanna talk a little bit about the morale of the country, the morale of the people, the feeling, the attitude. I realize that a lot of people, and it ain't just now, it seems to be going on for a while. But right now it seems like people is at an all-time high in having this low morale. They don't feel safe and secure. They don't feel like, their economic situation is going to be brighter, despite all the conversation we hear about how strong the economy is. We see a lot of businesses, big businesses, business with big money, doing well. We see some of the expensive hotels in the territory doing well. Of course they're going to do well. They have money. They got a niche market. They can do what they need to do to sustain their survival. We see some of the other companies who are big but struggling because their market is not that strong. The people they depend on to come and shop and support them, for some reason they ain't coming. We see also a lot of people, you look at the news every day this week, last week, week before, every week, there's some complaint about people feeling a little bit down and out. They're not sure if they're going to be able to make it. I saw a story just the other day where it said people are hand to mouth. And a lot of us are hand to mouth, despite what anybody else might try to make you believe. We are hand to mouth, and that's simple, hand to mouth. You get it one time, within a matter of minutes for some, hours for some, and days for some, it's gone. And you're waiting again for it to show up again. Hand to mouth. That's not good. That's not good. So I want to know from you, how do you feel? How do you feel about your future? The future of your kids? There was a slogan during the last election. I'm sure many of you would remember it. One of the parties, we ain't going to single out nobody, but one of the parties, and you could figure it out yourself, were asking the question, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I'm asking you, are you better off now, 2.5 years into this new administration, than you were 2.5 years ago? Do you see it? Do you feel it? Are you experiencing it? I want to know. You see more money in your pocket, despite the talk again that the economy is strong? Are you able to sustain yourself without having to really ration what you buy? What about the bills? I know a lot of you are going to probably complain about the electricity. I saw stories again. Some guy called or someone called a talk radio just the other day and talked about consumer protection. Why don't we have something like that in this country to help protect consumers from against price gouging and, people who are taking advantage of us? Why don't we have it? Are you secure in your future? Do you feel good about the future? Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, because there seems to be a very low morale in the country. People ain't feeling good. They hear a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk about all kinds of things happening. But we ain't experiencing it. Some of us, a lot of us. Slow season is in now. Why we in a territory and we still talking about slow season, I don't know. I don't know if any of you know, the BVI does depend on tourism, I think more than most of us, more than financial services. The government needs financial services. It is what keeps the country floating. But I'm talking about the everyday man. Without tourism, we're dead, right? We are so perfectly located on the map. on the world map. I mean, when you think about it, we're between two hemispheres, the north and the south. I don't know if any of you realize, right now in the summertime in America, everything below the equator, most everything, not everything, but most everything, South America-wise, is now becoming winter. So their winter season, there are emerging markets down there where people have big money to spend. We're a perfect location. So why are we still talking about slow season? Why are we here scrambling and rationing? I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm asking you, if you have any answers to share it with us. What do you think needs to be done? Are you happy with your future? Does it look bright? We see a lot of promises. We see a lot of activities. We hear about contract signing. We hear about, developments coming. We hear politicians telling us this is the best tourist season we've had in 6 years. That was a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, when it was season. Is season end already? What's going on? Call me and tell me. Food for thought. Question simple. How do you feel about the future? Where you at? Does it look bright? Are you comfortable where you are? You think more needs to be done? If you think so, what can be done? What needs to happen, in your view, to help move the system forward so the rest of us can feel comfortable in where we live, where we exist, and try to make life for ourselves and our families? Next thing on my agenda. I was reading news this week, and this one was a bit funny. This one, it's not a laughing matter, right? But sometimes, I contemplate touching these kind of subjects because they're very touchy. And you want to be fair. You want to be fair to the people who are making the noise, the people who are bringing you the story, and the people who the stories are about, right? But at the same time, when you're passionate like I am about some things and you understand some things that I believe I understand, I don't understand everything, but I try. When I don't understand, I try to do a little homework on it to better understand it. And what I'm talking about is the sewage, right? I saw some article where it was on Platinum News, one of the local newspapers. Someone didn't want to be identified, but they made some strong, acknowledgement that Village Ski smelled like sewage. It looked like sewage and it smelled like sewage. The middle of Rotong, the economic center of our country. Rotong it is. And we have this massive issue with sewage. Now, to be fair to the Minister for Communication and Work, he's right. They inherit a sewage issue, a serious sewage issue. We know that. You can't deny that. But he knew that before he ran. He ran on that platform. And they made promise to fix it. Not to cover it up, but to fix it. The government before went and tried to get some money, $15 million to be exact. And one of the main reasons for that money was to do whatever you could do with it to fix the sewage problem, especially in Rotong. It's now 2 years and some months, almost 2.5 years now into this new administration. And I ain't knocking nobody, I'm not criticizing nobody. But enough excuses. Enough excuses. Get it done. Fix it. Rotong gonna lose a lot. And I tell you, I'm not putting it out there to try to criticize nobody. I'm simply trying to draw to your attention that if it's not fixed, here's what I see happening. There used to be a boat show, which was really important to the viability, economic stimulation of Rotong, right there in Village Ski. It wasn't there last year. I can't remember the year before. It went to Nanny Key. They ain't gonna come out and say one of the main reasons is because it smells like a sewage dump. But it is. It's probably one of the factors in why they decide to move it. Imagine you have one of your main operating, money generating entities right in the heart of Roatan. You got people coming from all over the world. And them guys there do a wonderful job. Them owners and operators of them boats. If you don't know, they pump anywhere from $20 to $30 million a year into our economy. Them boats right there were based out of Village Key, which is part of, you know, a couple of organizations right there. There's two of them right there in that corner. One is run by my good friend Janet, and you have Charter Port on the other side. And those boats cater to a certain clientele. They have, you know, the best of the best. And now you go to Village Key, you see half the boats are not even there. So I think it's a wake-up call. Again, not criticizing. If you can't take this constructively, then something is wrong with whoever driving the boat. The captain himself can't see. Village Key smell like a sewage. Because sewage is going into Village Key. We're going to get to that in a minute. But I'm going to leave it there for now. Now come back. I'm going to hit it some more. We're going to get into it. And if you want to interrupt me for any reason, feel free. The phone line's going to be open when we get back out of this quick break. Speak your mind. It's your show. Don't mind me. I'm just giving you some food for thought because I don't want to be here all night talking to myself. Because I know for a fact I ain't the only one in this country experiencing what I'm experiencing. A lot of you see me every day. You asking how the country running. You tell me. How you feel about your future and your future of your family if you have one. And we're going to tackle that sewage thing in a minute. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, phone lines will be open. Call and speak your mind.
Say hello to the Digicel DL700, our newest best value Android smartphone with a 4-inch display, front-facing camera, and a 5-megapixel rear camera. It's perfect for snapping and sharing. Plus, it's super fast, so you can do more, play more, and share more. And choose to download from over 1 million apps available in the Google Play Store. The Digicel DL700, the latest addition to the Digicel Android smartphone range. Make the smart choice. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
So welcome back, guys. Before we jump back into that, I got a couple little texts I want to hit you guys up on. I got one text said, music on the beach is a good idea. Somebody was down at the beach. They're still down there apparently on the music on the beach, Cane Garden Bay. If you're looking for something to do after the show, they said, oh, come on down. Music on the beach, down by Keto, between Keto and Big Banana. Another text came in and said the boat show at Scrub Island was great for the first time. Somebody really enjoyed the boat show. Big up to the organizers of the boat show. Sound like it was a really great idea, and you know, the organizers who put it together really went out and did their best and pull off a really good show. Another text came in. This might some people from Virgin Gorda. They said poker run tomorrow for those of you who didn't hear. If you're looking for an event, poker run tomorrow. Speedy got a trip. I think Romney them have a trip coming out of Tortola. For those of you who want to leave from Tortola, you can go up on Speedy's sometime in the morning, probably around 8, and they'll pick people up in the valley, and then head over towards North Sound. where they'll join the race. So if you want to enjoy the fun on a ferry, you can do that. Tomorrow, Poker Run. Another text came and said, what's up with all these boats burning? You call me, tell me, I don't know. I don't own no boat. I ain't burning none. I ain't going to burn none. And I ain't getting involved with that. Who got boats got to know what's going on. Text came in based on what we were just talking about, the sewage thing. Sewage problem will never get fixed. And, you know, I mean, we got money. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure, I know the minister's the action man. So I think by the end of this year, if not next year, we'll see some major improvement. But for the meantime, it's a major problem, and it's causing the system to lose, you know, especially Rotong, much needed economic help. So another text came and said the economy is bad. Well, I guess one person answer. Somebody feel the economy is bad, you know. So we'll have to examine that a little bit more. Call me and let me know from your take. When you say it's bad, what do you mean? I mean, for some people it means they're having a hard time paying their rent. They've seen a decrease in their leisure fund. You know, they don't have much of a float. For some people it means they can't do much, can't go no place, can't do anything. For others it means, you know, other things. So call me, let me know what you mean when you say the economy is bad. The phone number is on the screen. If you guys want to call in early, get your calls in. Don't wait till when the calls start rolling and then somebody else want to voice their concern and then you're upset because you can't get in, and then you see me Monday morning, you say, that person was talking too long because, you know, I couldn't get in. The phone lines are open now. There's nobody online, so call and let us know. So, when I open up, I ask you guys two questions. I put two things out there. First thing is, how high is your morale? Well, how you feel about the country? And I gotta be honest with you. You know, 6, 7 out of every 10 person I speak with, and I listen to, and I hear them talk, they don't feel good about the economy. They don't feel good about their future. They ain't really seeing any improvement in their lives. You know, everybody talk about struggling. It's a struggle. You know, man talking about they got government or from private persons. You know, we got people talking about having to go to the supermarket and really, like, you know, when they normally would buy 3, buying 1, you know, and buy 1 of each. I mean, how do you feel? How do you feel? Is it strong? Is it good? What's your outcome? Remember that slogan again? Are you better off right now than you were 2 years ago? Do you feel better about yourself? Do you feel better about the... Some people say it's not good. And you know, I think personally, when I hear ministers and opposition members making statements, bold statement, general statement about how good things are, I think they should be held accountable to explain it, define it. You know, when you look at, like, say, for example, the U.S. I watch C-SPAN a lot. I watch Fox too. I watch MSNBC. I watch MSNBC Business Sector. And I watch and I listen to a lot of intelligent people debate, you know, subjects and topics. And there's one thing they always try to outdo each other with is statistics, numbers. Numbers to satisfy and justify what they're saying. And we hear things like, the economy is good. Good where? We hear things like, best numbers we've seen in years. Numbers where? Is it trickling down? Is it numbers helping our people? I mean, I was in King Almid today. And I'm talking to a couple people down there, some business owners. We got music on the beach, it's great. You know, we got a couple entrepreneurs put their head together and say, you know, we got to try to do something for ourselves. And they did. And I commend them for that. But at the same time, you got others who don't have the resource, who depend on a system that is spending $12 million a year to find ways to concentrate marketing effort to make sure that those people in those specific areas, Cane Bay, Just Van Dyke, other areas, East End, Long Loop, that we could generate, create ideas. I ain't talking about giving nobody no money. I ain't talking about going and building no house for nobody. I ain't talking about that. I'm simply saying building the foundation, generating the concepts and helping people develop those concepts so they can start doing for themselves. Now, we spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money marketing the territory. And I know that. I've been there. I was on some of those boards when I understand the kind of money we were spending. I see the money go out. I see some of the ads go out. Some of them I used to think they were a waste of time. They go out, they run for about 3-4 days, a week in a magazine. The next month, the magazine at the bottom of the pile because the new edition came out. So unless somebody was really into keeping old magazines and reading old articles, you don't know anything. So it means that you got to continue to spend more and more money to keep the attention of the people you're trying to get. Is there other ways we could do that? I'm sure we can. I'm sure there is. But when people make bold statement of how great it is, they should be able to defend it. They should come to us. When they say they're going to do development for us, we should hold them accountable and make them explain it to us. Break it down, so to speak. Show us where and how it's going to trickle down. Because that's the important part. If it doesn't trickle down, then how are we going to survive? How are you going to survive? How am I going to survive? Now, some of you sitting out there saying, oh, I don't care about all of that what Sam they're talking about because it ain't going to affect me. Really? Stop for a minute. Stop for a minute. It ain't going to affect you? You sure about that? Read some of the articles from coming out of the courthouse. Them. Young man admitting to robbing supermarket, begging for leniency because baby need formula. Don't have no other way to turn. Young man getting caught stealing batteries from established business in East End. Why? When the cop asked him, why you stealing the people them thing? He ain't got no work. Not that he ain't want work. He ain't got no work. Can't find none. Job market saturated. A lot of folks who are here, were supposed to be here temporary, are now occupying full-time position. Lack of training and opportunities. We got entrepreneurs who are trying to do things for themselves. And government have programs, they say, to help entrepreneurs help themselves. And when those entrepreneurs come with the big ideas, the ideas are too big for them. And the same ideas, 6 months later, somehow mysteriously appear by others, and it's great. We find ways to sponsor it and push it and support it. Well, if that's where we're heading, and you believe that what he's saying don't affect you or will not affect you, stop. Stop. Like they say when you got fire on you, you stop, drop, and roll to out the fire. You better stop and think for a minute. If it ain't affecting you directly, it's going to affect you indirectly. One way or the other, you're going to pay. You either could pay to keep them out of jail and make sure that they live productive life, or you're going to pay to keep them in jail so they don't become a pest to you. So again, when we hear these men talking about how good things are, when we see the amount of talk that's going on and no action, you got to hold them accountable. You have to hold them accountable. They need to explain themselves. If they can't explain themselves, then what I'm saying is a bunch of lies. And that's the society we're developing right now, where people are able to say things in general terms and can't defend it. And some of us, no matter what, who are hardcore supporters, who believe no matter what they say is the right thing, ain't gonna question it, and look to condemn the other people who are questioning it. And it shouldn't be that way. We're big enough, we're old enough, we can reason enough to disagree, agree to disagree. So I'm asking you, how do you feel about your future? Is it bright? Does it look good? Are you happy? Are you hand to mouth? I know that's a harsh term, but it's a reality. Even Oprah Winfrey did a show on that one time, talking about Americans who are hand to mouth. There's a lot of them. We ain't the only one. We know that. We ain't the only one. A lot of people around the world are hand to mouth. They can't wait to get a paycheck because they done so far ahead in credit that the paycheck done gone and they can't even pay the new bills. So you got credit again. You got to wait, you got to wait, you got to wait. When you got to pay again, you got to pay the old credit before you get new credit. It's like a system designed to keep us poor, keep us down. And I ain't blaming no politician now. I ain't blaming them. I'm simply saying that should be accountable for what they say. We got development going on. We ain't seen no development plan. But we hear good things coming. I saw a thing the other day on Florida News. David Beckham, the soccer player. He got turned down one of his proposals to build a stadium, a soccer stadium. $300 million he wanted to put into that development. City of Miami, the citizens, the voting population of that area, because it came under the city and it's a city park, had to vote on it. And they said no. Immediately he went and they seek out a new place. They found a new area to develop. Nice idea. I think it's a great idea. Before the 2 weeks ended, they already had this well laid out plan, design, concepts. You could see everything. You could see the trees, the stadium, the new park they want to build, your new boat slips, everything to sell to the people. They talked about how money's going to be dispersed, trickle down into the system, how local business owners will benefit, how they're going to deal with traffic, how many extra parking they're going to have, and how it's going to reduce the amount of congestion, new overpass. All of those things are laid out in a concept. And we got development coming in our country and we can't find nothing yet. I'm sure after tonight we will though, because that's what this show does for people of this territory. People like me bring questions, good questions, concern, and comments to the forefront. And immediately, some of you who are watching are on the phone right now, calling those decision makers and saying, where's the plan? The man is right. Where's the designs? Where is, the studies that show people how they're going to benefit 20, 30 years from now? Where is it? If you don't have it, that means it's almost like a lie. Because if you can't show it, you can't prove it, then it's like, imagine you go to a guy to build a house for you. He got a contract, an architect to design and develop what you had in mind. The architect tell the developer, oh man, don't worry about nothing. Just dig the foundation 20 by 30, dig a hole 15 feet deep. He ain't really give him no measurement, but he just guide them, word them out. Imagine that. You know what will happen? The design will not happen. The development will not happen. It's going to flop. So, we'll take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. And when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation.
Say hello to the Digicel DL700, our newest best value Android smartphone with a 4-inch display, front-facing camera, and a 5-megapixel rear camera. It's perfect for snapping and sharing. Plus, it's super fast, so you can do more, play more, and share more. And choose to download from over 1 million apps available in the Google Play Store. The Digicel DL700, the latest addition to the Digicel Android smartphone range. Make the smart choice. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
All right, welcome back. So I promise I'm going to touch that sewage thing, but before I do that, my good friend Courtney is here with me now.
Yeah, good evening to our viewing audience out there. It's always nice to be here on the show.
Courtney, I was just rallying them up and getting them all excited. We got a bunch of texts just came in.
Okay.
PP is in. NDP must go. Government lying to us. Some other texts, some crazy stuff just came in.
The electricity bill.
Oh yeah, and somebody said electricity bill is too high. We know that. What we need to do is lobby government and get them to change the law so we could all put solar panel, who can afford it, on our homes, so we don't have to keep depending on all this fossil fuel. And hopefully that will reduce the cost that government have to spend on importing this fuel, and then we all could hopefully live a better life. But
So I'm not only importing the fuel, but also in buying new engines. And one of those, you have any idea how much one of those engines cost?
a lot,
Millions of dollars.
a lot.
Right, and I think the ministry is right now speaking. Okay. Good evening, you're free to speak your mind. Go right ahead, please.
Hello, good night.
Hello, good night.
I want to say something about West End.
Go right ahead.
We don't have a police in West End. We don't have a police in West End anymore.
Right, I see
Anything
police.
happen,
I see police West End last night.
You see police West End last night?
Yeah.
Go down and check. Go down. Excuse me. Go down and check the police station. It's closed.
But the police station might be closed, but that don't mean it don't have police.
It have police.
Yeah, man.
If you don't have police, they be caught them out
Yeah.
sneaking
Don't-
around in some kind of waiting to get you a ticket for a seatbelt.
Don't forget too that they have a lot of activity in West End this weekend.
Drinking rum.
No, I ain't
it
say
co-
drinking rum.
It covers from all.
I telling you. I telling you. You ain't telling me.
Speak your mind.
Speak it, man. Go right ahead.
Excuse me. I said the police station in West End is closed.
Okay.
And if you want to get a police, you have to call Rotown to get anybody in West End, get a police down here. Even to the keys to open the custom building in West End, 6 o'clock in the morning, they got to come from King Garden way, Rotown.
Okay. I heard that they're doing some work on the
They
police.
ain't doing nothing. Don't tell me.
You the seat every day.
This is a West End
I
person.
said they ain't, but the country you telling me, you're asking me.
I got to ask you now because you on the spot. I know you on the spot, so I have to ask you. So
I
they
said they don't have no police in West End.
okay.
All like yesterday morning, it had a crazy. You should have been in West End yesterday morning. The Pathfinders were going to St. Croix, and nobody could get in nor out. We know when it had police in West End, they would have been down there handling the situation. They don't have no police in West End.
Okay.
The place is closed.
Mhm.
If you want anybody, you got to call Rotown or King Garden Way.
But I hope our friend the
They
commissioner.
say the place, they can't walk in it, so they close it.
Yeah, but I hope that they make some alternate arrangement because that could be very very difficult for the residents of West End.
It's very difficult for the people from anywhere, from the East End, any place, because
It's a
they
port
will
of
be there going
entry.
to St. Thomas.
Yeah, but it's
They will be
also-
there going to St. Thomas.
Yes.
And they need a police down there every single day when the boys them get busy.
That's true.
And we don't have any.
That's true. But I hope
I don't know. This place gone to, I won't say hell, but they gone to some place.
Well, Carl, I hope that the people in authority who are listening to the show understand the seriousness of what you're describing and move with haste to correct it. You know.
Well, I actually had to try see if you could get all these who have to talk to who's supposed to come down there and get some police somewhere go down there, because if anything happen, they will kill the whole of West End before police get down there. When they're there, when they're down there, you can't get them because you find out your mother name, your father name, and what house you live in, what bedroom you're in, and this kind of stupidness. We don't have that in the U.S.
Okay.
When you call, you come. I don't know where they get this foolishness asking you about your mother, your father, and your children in the house, and how much bedroom you have. This is shit. Anyhow, good night.
All right, good night. Thanks for giving us that heads up. Okay, Sam, that sounds like a serious situation to me.
Well, Courtney, even in King Island, believe it or not, there's times when there's only one officer that man the station, and when that officer gone, any one call, the station is left unattended. So I know that for a fact. I had an accident down there one time, and right on the bridge, walked to the police station, and the officer was inside taking a shower. When I thought somebody else was at the front desk, officer said no. He said for the whole week he's the only officer down there. So you know, it's something need to be done. But you know, yesterday I had an experience, and I had it. I want to say to the people who are running the police departments, and especially to the head of the police. Utilizing these young, fresh officers better. You know, instead of standing below a hill, waiting on some seatbelt situation, park them down where people are spending money or looking for officers to be visible so you could deter crime. Stop wasting taxpayers' money, sending them out to do nonsense.
Good evening, you've reached Speaking Mind. Go right ahead, please. Good evening, you've reached Speaking Mind.
Good evening, Courtney.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I got a little problem.
Okay.
Within the last 2 weeks ago and today, a chunk come in to lay some egg in Chongbe.
That sounds
And the
like,
people them just chasing them back out into the ocean.
Oh, what?
that's terrible, a trunk turtle. That's terrible because I've seen so many,
Again, they're trying to turn back the chunk. The chunk just come in to lay some eggs. Let the chunk lay his eggs and leave.
Where was it coming to? Island Bay?
Trunk
Chunk
bay.
Bay.
Trunk Bay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the second time in 2 weeks. They just done with trying to turn the trunk around. I don't know what happened in this finish. I had to leave the place.
Yeah,
But I left them down there with him.
But you don't suppose to mingle with them at all when they hatching?
Listen, the trunk just come into the eggs. Let the trunk let it egg.
Yeah, you don't suppose to mess with them at all.
Well, I don't know why, but we got people down there just trying to turn them back all the time. So try to educate the people. Let the egg, let the young people learn about those things.
yeah, but I saw.
Trump used to come here a long time ago to stop.
I saw a documentary on I think it's Channel 1 where they try to educate people about the trunk turtle, and as you know, it's a endangered species.
Protected.
That's what that whole thing is saying.
Ah, okay.
Anyhow, y'all enjoy it.
All right, thanks. Well, Sam, that's you know, that's not good to hear that we're you know, being so disrespectful to the trunk turtle. Trunk turtle is a species that's on the international endangered list of species because of the number of them that are dwindling, and we all need to do our part in trying to help to restore those numbers to better numbers.
And people should probably understand too, Courtney, without turtles and creatures such as that, a tourism sector will be dead.
Yeah, not only that, but when you get that kind of negative publicity, you know, it deters some people from coming as well.
That's right. That's right.
And the money, the dollars you have to spend to repair that kind of damage, you know, the money can be used for something much more appropriate, rather than trying to repair damage that's not necessary in the first place. So yeah, I'm hoping that the people in the conservation and fisheries would do something about that, you know, try to educate the public some more about, you know, the whole cycle for the trunk turtle. And if they come into our shows, you know, that's very good.
Yeah.
You know. I know we used to get some whales one time, but it seems like they have shifted a little bit for now, but that's another good area and another conservation effort as well. There's some countries in the Caribbean where, you know, the whale watching is like it's a part of the tourism product as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if we get a text. Let me see what they're saying. Or the people who are with us are saying that tonight. I think we have a new Super Cup, and is a woman. LOL. All right, buddy. Yes, that may be
Who
so.
she? We ain't got a Super Cup woman out there, man. Hey, listen, wear your seatbelt, stay off the phone, or use a hand-free device. Trust me.
Don't pack around corners.
Don't park around corners, you know.
Yeah.
Watch out for them because they you know, there's so much little petty stuff going on. You know, instead of exercising their abilities to help solve crime, anticipate hot zones, document areas that are being robbed and find ways
frequent by criminals.
Find ways to get into those areas undetected so they can help solve some of these crimes. You know, Mr. Police Chief, you need to utilize these officers better. You know, not out there wasting taxpayers' money, running behind somebody a mile up the street talking about, I watch you didn't have on a seatbelt on a flat road. You know, to me, not wearing a seatbelt is not a criminal offense. A criminal offense is an officer who don't know the difference between a criminal and a law-abiding citizen. That's a criminal offense, and you should do something about that. Utilize these officers better. I mean, they're wasting time. You know, no police officer in West End. West End Ferry Dock is one of the busiest. One of the busiest. You go down there, congestion. Congestion up and down. You can't get in, you can't get out. It looks bad for a tourist industry. It creates a burden, unwanted, unnecessary burden for citizens. Where's the officers them? Utilize them better. Utilize them better. You know, I mean, I would have thought by now we would have smarter police officers in our force, but hey, it's an easy paycheck. You know, this is one of the easiest places I think in the world to police. You know, it's just to me so easy.
Hold that thought. Good evening, you have free speaking mind. Go right ahead, please. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go right ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Good night, gentlemen.
Sorry?
But I'm not connected today.
Yeah, you are, but I think you might try to be listening to yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm listening to it before.
Yeah, turn on the radio, TV, you know, move away from it.
I'm far from it.
Okay, talk to us now.
Okay.
What's on your mind?
What's the main is electricity operation. Every week somebody's calling me about this operation, and I think somebody really needs to look into it. I would like to know who's really over this department, because I am having problems here for the longest while. I don't have a blood pump out of the order for months. That is the heaviest thing I have here using electricity, and it's out the order for months. I don't have anything else pulling this amount of current. When the pump went out the order, my bill went down just for the 1 month. The charges will drop. The following that was too low. For no reason, they put it back up. I just literally the paying over $100 just purely disabled bulb. I use a disabled, which is the 13 watt bulb, and it's as bright as a 60. I just buy my bulb in St. Thomas. And it's ridiculous for me to pay over $100 to electricity. Somebody is stealing the money with it, and they need to stop it. And somebody need to look into this situation, because it's everybody complaining about their light bill, their light bill, their light bill. I don't care what it is, somebody's doing something wrong with that corporation. And I really need my trip.
You how much is your fuel surcharge?
I can't tell you because because I really don't have the bill in my hand.
That's probably a problem. That's probably the problem right there.
Yeah, but in addition to that, she's saying she's using energy efficient bulbs.
6 charges for this and 6 charges for this time in the color. What is all about? I said something has to be wrong. I don't have a pump here running. The most right pump is out of order. Where should I get this time over $100?
Carla,
That.
Carla, I hear you loud and clear, and I have a friend of mine who lives in St. Thomas and lives here periodically, and he told me one time he went to St. Thomas for 3 months, and the bill still came the same while the house was locked up. So I'm hearing the same story that you are saying over and over again, and I do agree with you that somebody needs to look into it.
Who is it? Who's over that department? If this is a department that
Well, it falls on no ma'am. It falls under the Ministry of Communication and Work. Honorable Mac Vanterpool will be responsible for it.
Well, you're going to have to find him, or you're going to have to find them.
Yeah.
Because I cannot take the phenomenon for months I went up to this situation with my life this side, and I don't have anything else using this amount of electricity. So,
Well, your first job would be to go in there and make a complaint, and then, you know. Oh, okay. But they have an office in Bojangara. So go to the office in Bojangara and make a complaint, and then if nothing happens,
What are you going to do? They can't do anything.
they can do an audit. They can do an. They can.
Problem. So, you in Bojangara and they is a total million Bojangara. They can do whatever they want because you can't see and you notify yourself. That was a blind idea. It was ignorant to have that kind of situation going on. Everybody can do what they want in this country and take an advantage. I'm not saying that they work in it, and I want my business straight and people, other than that, if you listen to my, please go in that corporation and get my electricity bill in order for me, please.
We're using the show tonight to speak your mind. I agree.
I have a lot more than that.
Speak your mind. Don't stop there. Don't stop there because we got a lot of silent listeners.
Yeah, and we have,
we are suffering.
We have people that say we're talking for ourselves. We're not really talking for the wider community. So if you get an opportunity to talk, go ahead and speak up.
This is the right time. You get back to us. Get back to us tonight. This is the right time to speak because trust me, the minister himself might not be listening, but somebody that work for him and somebody who they usually put to listen to the show and record the show is listening. So if you want...
I hope because I can't take it any longer because it's abusive. It's abusive to anybody else, but less to me as female. It's very much abusive and I can't take it any longer. That's why I speak my mind tonight.
But Carla, I'm glad you reminded me though, because I wanted to speak out about that same issue you're talking about of, reducing the amount of electricity that we use in an effort to try to bring your bill down. That's one step that every citizen can take. I understand that you're already taking that step, but now we need for the other things to happen. We need to see the bill go down. We need to see the actual bill that you pay every month go down. And also... Well, we're gonna continue to push the envelope and to. Well, I would even go so far as to suggest that that ask them to do an audit of your electrical consumption, and start. Some of the things I'm going to encourage people to do too is to change old appliances, because I've seen a study that says that if you have an old appliance. Okay, but not you, but I'm saying other people might have old appliances. Okay, and they draw a lot of electricity as well. But anyway, thanks. Anyway, thanks for. Yeah, I agree with you. Thanks for sharing with us. And I hope you get some help. All right, that's the spirit. All right, good night.
Good night.
Well, Sam, the people are really speaking out tonight. Mm-hmm. And at this time, we're going to take a break for the people that make the show possible. So we're going to be right back with you.
Say hello to the Digicel DL700, our newest best value Android smartphone with a 4-inch display, front-facing camera, and a 5-megapixel rear camera. It's perfect for snapping and sharing. Plus, it's super fast, so you can do more, play more, and share more. And choose to download from over 1 million apps available in the Google Play Store. The Digicel DL700, the latest addition to the Digicel Android smartphone range. Make the smart choice. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
Alright, welcome back, guys. So, electricity bill too high, all kind of thing too high. Ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is we need to rise up. You need to rise up in a respectable way. Enforce these politicians to do what's right in our best interest. Otherwise, they ain't gonna do it. I don't care how much time we complain, but complaining is still good though. It's still good to get your voice out there because one might be a lonely voice at some point. When it gets bigger and bigger, it becomes a bigger voice. And the bigger the voice get, the more we'll get them to listen. So keep it going still. Keep it going. But we need to raise up. Otherwise, we ain't gonna get nothing to do. You know, absolutely nothing. Courtney, you got a text there?
Yeah, it says, Texas came and said, we would like to know how soon the cruise ship will start. The cruise pair, sorry. The cruise ship pair will start. I think that's going to be something you probably hear a news release from the government on that and when it's going to start. I don't know when it's going to start. It says, Sam, since you seem to be a police expert, why you don't go be a police? Not wearing a seatbelt is a crime because it's against a law that was passed in the House of Assembly. Sam, that's telling you what to do. I have another text that came in. I have a family of 4, and my electricity use used to come to $135. I changed all my lights to energy-saving lights, and my bill now doesn't pass $90. The people here want to have washer and dryer and AC and many electrical stuff and expect to have a low bill. Well, I think that's a good point, Sam, because you have to do an audit of your house to see what really is burning all of that electricity. I'll put it out there. The air conditioning, the dryer, ironing, all of those things that use heat, use a lot of heat. Those are the things that are really running your electric bill very high. And all of us as a territory need to be more conservative and reduce our carbon footprint, meaning we have to try and reduce the amount of fossil fuel we use every year. Every time we use a lot of electricity, the corporation have to buy more fuel. And when they buy more fuel, we're helping the rest of the world to deplete the amount of fossil fuel that's left in the earth. And the way to go is to reduce your use and to look to alternative energy to supplement the demand that you have. So do an audit and find out where you can cut costs. And the suggestion that the person made there about the light bulbs, that's a good idea. But in all, you have to look at other things. There are things like if you leave your cell phone charger plugged in, that thing burns electricity, enough electricity over a year, because you have to remember that if it burns, for example, if it burns maybe, a percentage point, then over 365 days, that would be, if it's 1, it would be 365 just for 1 year. So we need to do an audit of the load that we're carrying in the house and try to reduce first then look at energy saving things. Like I mentioned another one earlier, that is, if you have an old refrigerator, and you can check it online yourself, you know, there's a star rating on appliances that could tell you how much electricity that appliance is going to burn for an entire year. And if you have one as a energy hog, what we like to call an energy hog, the good advice is to get rid of it, because all it's doing is burning energy and causing your bills to go high. And you know, there are a number of things that can be done to augment these high electricity bills. And in addition to that, if we go down the route of renewable energy, and if we get the legislation in place to allow individual citizens to buy solar panels and put them on the roof and make energy, that energy could be put on the grid and go back to the corporation. And if you could imagine, it's an ideology that says that you shouldn't have one power generation point in your distribution system, but rather, just for example, we know we don't have the census, but if we have 20,000 people and say 5,000 have houses, and if you get people with 5,000 generating units putting electricity on the grid, that would be a less of a burden on the corporation, maybe during the daytime, but not at night, because you know what we're talking about solar energy. So it's only when the sun is shining you get to produce electricity. But it could augment the amount of the demand that's on the electricity corporation. So, you know, it sounds a little technical and whatnot, but it is being done in other countries, and it can be done here. And I have a group of people, along with myself, who are really asking, begging the Ministry of Communication and Works to take a serious look at this and put the legislation in place quickly, so that we can benefit from it and, you know, change direction from going down the route of buying more and more diesel to put in the generators down in Parkwood Pond. You know, we cut back on expanding that area and consider expanding the area where local ownership of energy production could be put in the hands of Virgin Islanders, and by that reduce the country's dependent on fossil fuel. What do you think, Sam?
I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you. I agree with everything you say.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can add is the government has a responsibility to look at the amount of, you know, the way they spend money, whether or not they gain the best deal for the territory. Explain more why we are paying double the amount, the cost of electricity plus the fuel surcharge. Why are we paying a fuel surcharge? So yeah, personal responsibility has a lot to do with it. But at the same time, the average Joe ain't got time to be sitting there trying to figure out or audit his household. And the average Joe shouldn't have to deny himself the luxury of life. Sometimes people need AC. They might be asthmatic. They might need AC, or they might need some type of air filtration system. The cost of, you know, washer, dryer, if you don't have it at home and you have to take it out, take your laundry out, the inconvenience of taking your stuff to a public laundry.
And the transportation.
There's a cost to that as well. So you might save at home, but then still end up pushing it out, just trying to get to the washer and dryer and the laundromat. So I agree. There's some personal responsibility that we should look at and figure out, like you said, Courtney, I agree with all of that. But at the same time, you know, we don't have any other choice but to buy our electricity from the government, because the government is dragging their feet on giving the average Joe in this country the opportunity to go find ways to bring in his own sort of renewable energy source or source it himself.
But at the same time, Sam, don't get me wrong, you know, some things are being done. I don't know about you, but I could see on Peter Island, I could see the windmill blade going round and round and round every day.
You hear what you just said? Peter Island?
Yeah, Peter Island, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. And
Peter Island ain't average Joe.
No, I didn't. I know they're not the average Joe, but at the same time, I'm saying that things are moving in renewable energy, but
Well,
it's just not
Courtney,
moving fast
Courtney,
enough.
Peter
Yeah.
Island have had windmill for a number of years now. There's other establishment, we can call them name, that have solar panel. We have a island being developed right now in an eco setting where they're going to be utilizing all natural source of energy. So they've already been given certain type of authority and permission to do whatever it takes so they can start and set the trend. What I'm saying to you is average people right now, I remember last year, there's a grassroots organization right now has been lobbying the government, simply saying, change the law. It don't take no act of God to change the law. Change the law, allow people to bring in their own solar panel, allow people to find other source and other ways to generate their own homes and their businesses, and still be able to support the corporation. That in itself will significantly reduce the amount of money government have to spend on fuel. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. If we continue the trend, every year the cost of fuel go up.
Yeah, good evening. You're free to speak your mind. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, I'm listening to you talking about the lights. Well, what I was looking at is the government have their polls on morning, noon, and night. If they need to turn off them when they're supposed to be turned off, I guess it will help us with the problem with the light also.
But Carla, you know how that system works? What happens, right, is the electricity corporation provides street lights to the government, and they send the government a bill, and the government pays the bill. So once we have a system like that in place where the people who are paying the bill are not making that same argument that you are making, we have a problem.
Well, you see, if you go out during the day, all the lights are still on. They're supposed to have something to turn those lights off when they light.
Yeah, it's a simple switch. It's a daylight switch where as soon as the sunlight comes on, the light automatically goes out. But when that switch is blown and you don't go and replace it, the light stays on all the time.
Yeah, that is what I'm talking about.
Oh, definitely.
So if that could help us,
That could help us tremendously.
so they need to go out there and do their thing and give us a break.
But listen to me. Listen to what I just said before. Listen to
My
what I
bill
said before, though. If the people who are paying the bill
I know.
are not concerned, okay, let me put it.
I am very much concerned because my bill was 80 something and now it's 100 and about 50 something. And I can't understand and I don't have no lot of things to make it go up like that.
I hear you and I feel your pain, but at the same time, it's not going to help.
I know.
The only thing I could advise you to do is to try to get an energy audit and see if someone can explain to you, you know.
Don't worry, I'm going to go and get all my bulbs and change to the...
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
The light is the...
Definitely.
efficient one.
You might find that a 15-watt bulb in an energy LED 15-watt bulb might cost you a little bit more. But two things: one, it's going to last longer, and the other thing is that it's going to burn less electricity. So you're paying a little bit more for the bulb, but you have two things in your favor: one is going to last longer, and two is going to burn less electricity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell Sam to look very cute in those things.
He just took
And
them
when-
off.
And when I see him, I'm going to give him a hug. I'm not going to tell you who I am, but
Okay.
I'm going to give him a hug because he's my boy. And
Okay.
he knows where he's usually see me.
Okay.
You think I don't know who you are? Only one person I know in Tortola that sound like you.
You're telling a big story, Vera. You're telling a big story. Just you wait when I see you. And Vera Courtney,
Yes.
guys, keep up the good work, okay?
All right. Thank you, my dear.
Love you guys.
All right.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for
All
the
right,
call. But I you know, it gonna get to a point though, Courtney, where people gonna find ways, and I know a few homes right now where people are actually using solar panel to subsidize some of the government energy source.
Okay.
And those solar panels feed into batteries
Okay.
that charge
Okay,
8, 9, 10 o'clock at
We're
night.
describing that's an off-grid. That's what we call an off-grid system. which is a little bit more expensive, and like you were saying, the average guy may not be able to afford it because that carries the price up tremendously from the time you start talking about battery.
Well,
Because the batteries are very expensive. Right?
they are, but a lot of the solar system comes with some form of, discharge mechanism, whether it's a battery or, like in TV system, they have like a diode system, I think it's called, where it stores energy for a period of time before it actually dissipates, before it goes away.
Yeah, but with the grid direct system, that eliminate that altogether. It's only when you have a grid direct system where whatever you produce goes towards the grid once your production is higher than the grid. If it's lower than the grid, it would not work.
But we don't want that.
That's exactly where we have to get.
What we want is people want the ability to be able to run their own energy source and not have to depend on government. That's what a lot of people would love to have. If they could have that and they could afford it, they'll be better off.
Let's go to the phone.
Hello?
Yes, good evening. You have speak your mind. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, good night. Turn on the television. Hello, good night.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah, what I think needs to be done is electricity is overcharging the people. What needs to happen is that extra money that they are charging people need to be at least cut in half. Because it had a surcharge that was put on the consumers years and years ago when the fuel price went up. And it was not taken off when the fuel price went down. It's complete robbery to the inhabitants of this country. And the people, as Sam was saying, need to raise up, demonstrate, protest, go to the ministry, the Minister of Works and Communication, and ask him to do something about it, because he's the one responsible. Something needs to be done. I mean, these people are like a bunch of sheep, and we need to stop it, get up, and demand what's rightfully yours. But because the people don't get up and stand up for their own rights, they're being taken advantage of. Thank you for the call.
No, thanks a lot, Colin.
Thanks for your input. Sam, that's somebody else who feels that the whole electricity situation with the surcharge needs to be rectified, and he's suggesting to take it to the ministry level. Another text came in: why government not reviewing the minimum wage? I really felt the pain for these people. I really feel the pain for these people. I'm glad that somebody bring up this topic because, Sam, as I was saying to you, I noticed that Haiti has raised the minimum wage to $5 US, 5 and change US. It takes, another text came, it takes fuel to run electricity. The corporation can bulk the usage with fuel and hide the cost of the fuel, but they didn't. Sam, talking about convenience, but note that sacrificing for convenience has a cost. We have to stop looking for free, or even below cost. When we pay for healthcare, we want to pay little or nothing, and yet we expect the government to provide the best. Well, that's one irritated person there, Sam, who's telling you more is less, or or less is more. One of those two. Anyway, Sam, at this time we have to take a break for the persons that make the show possible. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back with you.
Say hello to the Digicel DL700, our newest best value Android smartphone with a 4-inch display, front-facing camera, and a 5-megapixel rear camera. It's perfect for snapping and sharing. Plus, it's super fast, so you can do more, play more, and share more. And choose to download from over 1 million apps available in the Google Play Store. The Digicel DL700, the latest addition to the Digicel Android smartphone range. Make the smart choice. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
right, welcome back, guys. We got about 10, 15 more minutes left, so make sure you call, get your calls in, get your texts in. I just want to touch on one text real quick to the last text that I text about convenience in government getting out free stuff. Nobody's advocating anything about government getting out anything free. Government of any country has a responsibility to protect its people at all costs, whether it's socially, whether it's militarily, whether it's economically, whether it's in, high electricity bill. We can't provide ourselves with our own source of electricity. We have to depend on the government. So it's up to the government to make sure that we are getting the best deal for our money. No, there are different needs in the different households. There are people who want convenience and they pay for it and they're not complaining. There's people who are calling this show who are concerned because they don't have those convenience, but they feel they're being overcharged. And they have a right. They have a right to complain. And the politicians, the policymakers, and the people responsible have a responsibility to the people who are buying their product to make sure that it's safe and it's exactly what they're paying for. They're getting value for money. So nobody ain't advocating nothing for free from the government. Nobody ain't asking the government for nothing. The government wants to provide a health care. The health care must be up to date. It must be up to standard. If you expect a man to pay for something, you're telling him, pay for this, it's going to be worth it, then show me how. Otherwise, don't force him to get it and let him go where he wants to go. Give him the choice. We don't have choices. We don't have choices in our electricity. We're not going to have any choice in the NHI. We're not going to have any choice in a lot of things in this country. Some things I support, some things I don't support. When it comes to electricity, I can't support a system that continues to tell me that I can't provide electricity for myself, regardless of what means I decide to go and get. And when people are being robbed, because a lot of us are being robbed, it's the government responsibility to make sure that we're getting a fair deal. It's as simple as that.
Let's see what someone else have to say. It's a good night. Social development in the BVI is a waste of time. I believe that they are just there to say they are working for the government and to collect a fat check when pay they come. My daughter was sexually molested, and what did they do? Nothing. They don't need to put up on a sign saying break the silence. They're just useless. It makes me sick to the stomach when I see the sign like that. Obviously, Sam, that's somebody who's a little bit irate about an incident that happened with them with the social development, but there's some very concerned people and very caring people that work at social development. And I think that person needs to, try and get that whole issue resolved and be mindful to persons that text and call that when you're dealing with minors, that they have more protection than you and I, and we have to be careful not to divulge any information about them that may be harmful to that person because the person is a minor. But I do sympathize with you if you're having a problem, and I think you should try and get it resolved, and also be mindful too that the people that work in social services, all the social services, they're not allowed to give out information, confidential information. So if you confide in them, more than likely they're not going to talk about it. So, just be mindful of those things, and I really wish you would get your situation rectified, because it sounds like a very serious situation, and it needs proper counseling and proper help. So my advice to you is to seek out that help, and I think things will be a little better. Sam, one of the persons that texted in talked about the minimum wage and the fact that we are refusing to address the minimum wage. And while we're talking about that, I want to talk a little bit about what's happening regionally, because I noticed that in Haiti, the minimum wage was raised to about $5 US. And if we're measuring our per capita income and the rest of the Caribbean, we'll realize that it's high time that we try to address this minimum wage issue. Not for us, not for you and for me, but for the less fortunate in our community who have to listen to people quoting them the minimum. And I understand too, in some instances, paying people below the minimum wage in the territory. So we have to address those kind of issues. I noticed they had a bill in Europe to raise the minimum wage in one of the countries to more than $17, I think it was, and it failed. They didn't raise it to $17. So, you know, the people always have to try and get a better working condition, but at the same time, you know, it takes a democratic process to do it. And I am one of the people that strongly support in a democracy where the people who are being affected by the situation the most and they have no voice, then that is where other people need to help and assist those persons to make sure that they get their fair due. It's a known fact that the cost of living has increased over the years in the territory, enough so to offset the minimum wage. So, ladies and gentlemen out there, join me and let us ask, let us beg, let us make the case for us to change the $4 an hour to a more reasonable amount. We're talking about the bread, the basket of goods that a person have to buy to survive in our community. We live in a very expensive community. Because of tourism and other factors, the price of doing business in the Virgin Islands has increased. And we're asking for this increase so that persons can live somewhat normal lives in the territory. And if persons don't understand what I'm saying, just look at this scenario where you have to go to the supermarket, you have to shop, you need transportation, you need to pay your Social Security, you need to pay your income tax, you need all these expenses you have. And if you look at the end of the day, if you don't make a certain minimum salary, then of course you're putting yourself in a very peculiar situation. Let's see, we have another text. Let me see somebody else is saying here, texting in. Said the government cares not for the people that elected them. Tell me how we're benefiting from higher fees for passport waivers and departure tax. Everything going up except people's salaries. So how they expect us to live? And thanks for that text, because I just remember one of my good colleagues said to me that he hasn't been given an increment now for quite some time. And I think we need to have a conversation about this increment situation one of these days, because there's one school of thought that says an increment is a right, and there's another school of thought that says an increment is something you earn. So let us have a little discussion on that as well. Let's see, I have another text that says, increasing of minimum wage equals increase in services, which equal to inflation. Get 2 jobs. I had 3 at one point, just saying. Well, you know, that's good for you if you had 3 jobs at one point, but when you have 3 jobs, don't forget social services. You are the same person, maybe not you in person, but you, the situation you're describing is a person who is away from the home for an extended period of time, running the 3 jobs, and guess what? The family suffers as a result. And we have a lot of social problems in our territory right now, and it seems to be on an escalating slide. So let us not promote escalating or social ills as it is right now. Let's look for ways and means to help the people that really need the help. The people who are at the $4 an hour are people, in my opinion, that really need the help. They're making it, but at the same time, the cost of living, ladies and gentlemen. I'm saying when you go and you have to buy egg, buy milk, and bread, and a couple of other items, and the amount of money you're making and the amount of money you have to spend from paycheck to paycheck adds up to more. You know, you have to see my point of view, that is not a win-win situation. Sam, I think I talk all I could talk about that for tonight. You know. Other thing I wanted to mention was the census. I think I'm hearing through the grapevine that we're close to completion. So all I could do now is beg and ask again that some of us really need these numbers. You know, some of us who are in the various industries that depend on forecasting, and you can't forecast if you don't have actual raw data to forecast with. And we need the numbers. It's taken us 4 years now. We had a census in 2010, and now this is 2014. So please help as Black Stalin said, better days are coming. Let's see those better days. Another text came in. Good night. I agree with the person who spoke about social development. If you say break the silence and a person comes to you with a problem and over 3 months you can't call back the person to deal with the matter, why then do you say you break the silence? Maybe we should take this to the governor. Maybe that will break the silence. Another text, it says social development is only helping the younger people and not the older ones. Also, Social Security needs to give older folks a raise. Well, I've been talking about that Social Security issue for time. I am one of those people who strongly feel that if the government is asking people to retire at 60 and Social Security only kicks in at 65, somebody need to talk to one another. Either the government needs to talk to Social Security or Social Security needs to talk to the government. But I think that those things should coincide. And a good colleague and friend, Tojo Smith, used to talk about it all the time. And it's a fact. Why have a 5-year difference? Okay? So maybe we need to allow our people to work to 65, or maybe Social Security needs to, to take a second look at how they're doing business in that area. Sam, one of the problems I'm having is that some of these things are in place a long time. For example, the electricity law, that's in place now for many, many years. And sometimes when you have things in place for so long, you need to revisit them and see if they used to work then, but are they working now? Are they working now for the people? Like I said, governance is about governing people. And if the people change, maybe the laws need to change as well. The laws were good for the people it was governing 50 years ago. But these people are not the same people now. This is a totally different scenario. Oh, sorry, engineering, we just lost a call. Please call back the number, please. Call us back so we can get your input. And Sam, we look like we're getting to that point in the show. Yeah, good evening. You have reached Speak Your Mind. Go right ahead, please. Good evening. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Whatever the persons before speak about social development, I agree with them 100%. They are waste of time.
Okay, you're speaking from your experience with them?
Yes.
Okay.
I went there and I report a matter, and they said they're going to get back to me, and up to this present time, and it was a minor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but you know that you could also report these matters to the police as well. And you need to turn on your radio too.
TV.
Your TV or your radio. I don't know which one you... Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening. I will turn it down.
Okay, but what I'm saying is when you have certain confidential or matters dealing with minors, right? Remember that the law is to protect the minor as well.
Mm-hmm.
So my suggestion to you would be maybe you need to also look at the other side of it, of getting the police involved as well.
Well, something will have to be done because you can't advantage children.
No,
they are innocent.
Not at all, and they're protected by the law. We have the rights of the child in the territory, and we have a number of other things that protect children. We have the consent law. We have a number of laws that protect children.
Okay.
So don't leave it just because you call Social Security social development. Don't leave it at that.
All right.
Go the added step and ensure that the person get the kind of help that they need.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Have a good night.
All right. So yes, Sam, I think maybe some people are using the social development department inadequately because, as I was saying before, some of these issues are very sensitive issues. And, good evening, you have reached Speak Your Mind. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
I want to say that social development ain't all that bad as they're saying.
Okay.
But social development can only do but they could only do so much. You can't blame them for everything. It's just like you're buying fish and you buy 6 tons of fish and all of them ain't good. Some spoil and some poison you. So don't blame social development.
Well,
Sometimes we need to get counseling ourselves as parents, and we need to blame social development for everything that they bad with us. Please,
okay.
give them a break.
Okay. Well, as I was trying to explain to some of the callers, I was telling them that sometimes you give social development something to deal with that's very technical and very controversial, and also they have to be careful not to divulge information that's given to them confidentially, and they also have to act on the interests of the minor. So,
Yes,
so sometimes a difficult job.
yes, I see social development dealing with a case here right now, and I want to big up Miss Anthony because she's doing a very good job.
Okay.
You can't please everybody, please. If you buy 10 pounds of fish and 2 poison you, you don't blame the fisherman? No, you don't blame the fish.
Okay.
So, come on.
Thanks for that
Okay,
analogy.
bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Sam, we have to wrap up now. We're getting to that point in the show where we have to bring the show to some closure. And you could start out, and I'm going to read these last 4 texts what I see here.
Well, I'm
backing
just
me up.
quick, Courtney. My advice to the people is just stand up for what you believe in. Simple as that.
Okay.
Stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah. Text just came in and said, why is it that when young people ask the government for help, they're always beating around the bush to help, but when it's election, they're running to help because they're looking votes? That's just the way the system is. Text, so that's just the way the system is, you know. The government seems like they're just not thinking. We elected them to help improve the country and standards of living, and claims that what they're doing, but how can you say you're listening to the people but still doing things that have a negative effect on the people? Next one said, the matter with social include on the police, doctors, and counselors, and including a minor, and it's 3 months, so they all a waste of time. Carla, we didn't have the time, but I feel your frustration. Was it that when young people ask for government for help? Okay, I got that text already. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we had a wonderful show. We talked about a number of things. We talked about the West End Police Station. Please help us to ensure that our residents down in the Western area, the 1st District, that they get some help. The Electricity Corporation, the high bills, a number of persons are talking about, you know, what we can do to. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the corporation may be having some problems with the system, so bear with them while they get it back up and running. We touched on the minimum wage. We got some calls about a number of social issues, and I think I can put it out there to say that when money is scarce, when the economy is not good, and we have a situation where people have to make choices, some of the social ills show their ugly face in the community. And that's just a fact of life, and we have to deal with it. So we may have to consider paying more attention to the social ills in the community now, because of the fact that the economy is not what it used to be. There's not as much money in circulation, one. And people don't have that much disposable income. Disposable income is money after you don't pay all your bills. You can, you know, go to the movie and go to the park and do all these other activities. So we're experiencing something that is a known phenomenon in sociology. So let's go ahead and deal with it. You know, if we have to get more help in counseling and other social services, let's do what we have to do. But Sam, all in all, I think we had a wonderful show. We had a number of persons that called and text that really participated in the show. And we had a wonderful show. And at this time, Sam, as I usually say, God bless these Virgin Islands and the people that live in them. And we'll see you again next week.